All right. Hello, 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 hello. Sean Brady with another fabulous episode of Leverage Your Lunch Hour. I got the one, the very cool with the beard and the purple shirt, my friend John Gentry. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Sean. Fantastic. How are you doing today?
Great. I missed our call earlier today. Usually, for those that don't know, John, myself, and a few other great people who are always talking real estate usually have a Thursday morning call. And it's all about real estate investing. And John's specialty is notes. And he really talks about and understands these types of assets in a different way and has different distinctions that I wanted you to know about because a lot of people don't know about some of these things. In the world of expanding our diverse portfolios and understanding what we could invest in and what we should save our money to invest in for, John is definitely a cool guy that works nationwide with groups all over the place on just this subject. So, John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I asked you a couple of questions beforehand, and I always like to start off with this because it helps the audience and people out there to get you to know you a little better. And just in a couple words, like I know you kind of wrote this out and encapsulated it. But what's the advice you would like to give to a younger version of yourself that's, thinking about investing? What do I need to do? It seems a little uncertain out there. What would you say to yourself if you could?
Man, if I could talk to a 18 or 19-year-old me, I would let myself know that the society that you live in has a set of rules that it teaches you so that you can survive in that society.
Yeah.
And society also has a second set of rules that it doesn't teach you, that if you can crack into those and learn those, they will totally help you thrive.
Yes.
I mean,
I love that.
You're where you're born, who you are, who your parents are, sex, color, religion, all that stuff. That's a physical manifestation of your biology and your family. I mean, that's just who your parents were, but who you are will totally come from your life experiences and how you understand them. So, do I have a second to kind of go into my thought process on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
and I forgot to say, Julissa Powell, our awesome media coordinator from Medici Media Spaces in the background. Julissa, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Should we let John talk about this thing? Because, it sounds pretty cool, don't you think?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited about this.
All right, keep going, John.
All
Get
right,
into it.
What you look like, who your mama was, all that's predetermined factors. You don't get any say in that. So disregard any of the limiting beliefs that the closed-minded people may cast at you. Yes. I'm big, tall, chunky, would not be a good figure skater, be a better line. But that only limits me if I let it limit me. So, right. I would say the most important thing is that you should strive to bring innovation and value in what you want to do. If you can do that, it will adhere people to you that will help you accomplish. So real estate, that was my interest. So let's say I got no money, $0 at all, none, zero,
right. Yep.
That many dollars. Because when you're born, that's usually what you have.
Yeah.
So I would say you take that, and I want to be in real estate with no money. So I find a great real estate deal because I'm creative. I think outside the box. So I don't have any money. I bring that deal to somebody with money because money follows value, plain and simple. I bring that deal to somebody, they execute that deal, they make more profit from me, but they put money in my pocket. So now I have a tool that I lacked, and I got it because I brought value to somebody that already had that tool. So after you make that money, go find your next deal. The point of that exercise is that I made a tool that I lacked by providing value to another person. And that's the secret. You have to provide value. If you don't, why are you worth anybody's time? And once you bring that value and you start to have those tools, find other people who have tools and skills that you lack and bring value to them. And over the course of these deals, you're growing your team. And whether or not, you and I do a deal, Sean, 2 times in a decade,
yes.
both grow from that deal.
Absolutely.
We learn from that, and we have an opportunity to take that knowledge to other people.
Yep.
It's how social media works. If people, we use it like this, we thrive. We use it in another way, we learn how to play video games, or whatever people are doing. So, find who has what you lack, bring value, and gain the leverage of their tools and skills. Find and learn from people who continue to learn and grow themselves, and then be that caliber of person in your life. So if you never stop growing and you bring value, integrity to all you do, people will always want to work with you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. I have to share this because you made me think of, a whole bunch of things in sharing. And that's one of the reasons I love talking with you. But the first one was, the only thing that defines you, and I have my little thing there, be more you, there it is on my screen. It's really be who you are. And Jaleesa and I were talking yesterday. The very first thing about, she's like, what are Jaleesa, what'd you say? 3 rules for investing? I don't even remember how we stated it.
Yeah, it was
3
top tips for investing.
3 top tips for investing. And, the first tip was 1, it's personal. It's you. And the only thing that can define you is what you allow to define you. Other people can start to define you as like, by like race, color, creed, religion, whatever, gender, where you were born, culture. It doesn't matter, right? But at the end of the day, the only thing that can define you is what you allow to define you. And hopefully you're driving the ship on that. Oftentimes we're not. So I love what you're saying. And then the other thing, that point 2 that made me think of was, having that, what are you bringing to the table? You might have come from nothing. You might have $0 in your pocket. You weren't born to a super wealthy family that, you just inherited a bunch of stuff, and that's okay. It's the beginning of a mastermind. If I remember doing this way back when I was in Chicago and leading mastermind groups and Think and Grow Rich books. Right. But the very first thing that you do is identify what's the value you bring to the table. And if you bring that opportunity for someone, look, any deal, it's a good deal if money chases it.
That's it. That is it. And there's a lot like the notes. Why do I like notes? Because I'm not a fan of having tenants and telephone calls at 2 a.m. about leaking toilet. All these things happen. And
that was one of my aha moments, because for those that know, I've had my real estate license before. I gave it up. I had it for 13 years. I did a bunch of commercial deals, some residential deals, mostly commercial though, large stuff. But understanding these notes, even though I was kind of around mortgages and understanding financing in a different way, and I kind of fundamentally knew about notes, right? But I didn't have some of the distinctions around having a long-term cash flowing asset and really having none of those issues or responsibilities that come with being a landlord, which quite frankly, I don't like.
Exactly.
I am not a great manager.
And if you like doing carpentry and plumbing and trash out,
right,
electrical, you'd be a home builder. And that would be.
Yeah. And I know plenty of people who love to do that, or even do it for their own rentals, right? They're just very handy, and they love that little tutelage, if you will.
Yeah.
That's not so much me.
Funny number. About a third of all rental properties is held by mom and pops that have 1 to 6 rentals.
Wow.
They're weekend warriors, and they don't manage through a management company. They do it themselves.
Yeah.
So, I've some of my better friends in this market that are landlords have been doing it for decades, and they love doing it. 75 years old, re-roofing a house.
Wow.
God, that's what you want to be doing. But at some point your joints break down, and
right.
You either have to replace them with some bionics or pay a younger guy to do that stuff.
Now, I think that was one of the reasons why I started investing in condos way back when. And a lot of them didn't turn out well. We still have some, but the long story short, what I liked about it was there was a maintenance person on site, and a property manager, took care of multiple buildings, not just ours. And,
Yeah.
That was like, there's a cost for that, but it was well worth it for our long-term hold proposition. And that was really, really cool. So yeah, smart insight. I didn't know that statistic. 1/3. Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people for sure. I wanted you to touch on a little bit about thinking about this as an asset, because I was concerned about, is this a security? It's not really security. You're typically looking for people who are looking to get an advantaged rate of return.
Yes.
Higher than they can get in a CD or the bank and things like that. And my concern is like, oh, can we even talk about that? This is going to be recorded. But go into that and what you were telling me about, because you're more the expert here. And what is a note? And you referenced some names, and I don't know who they are, but go ahead and get into that a little bit.
Yeah. Notes are anybody that's ever written a check or reached in their pocket and pulled out. Let's see here. Get one for you.
I don't have anything in my pocket.
This is the note. This
Right.
right here is a promissory note from my government to me, the greatest story ever told.
Right.
To give me $20 in credit in my country and in my world, based on being the bearer of that document.
Right.
So a note in its simplest form for a mortgage note is the promise for future payments. So basically, when you buy a house, you get a mortgage, right?
Sure.
A mortgage loan originator does the math equation, makes sure everything is fair and equitable, and that you were able to buy the property as the buyer, and that the seller is selling you a product worth what you were purchasing at from a value standpoint. The note, the promissory note to that, is a secondary document, which is the asset of the future payments.
Aha.
So it's not a commodity in the sense like it's stock or a bond, anything like that. This is just the future payments backed by the credit of the borrower. But also, if they fail to perform, it allows you access to the real estate. So when I want to buy that note and I want a rate of return. So I, as an investor, will be able to maybe get a better discount because of my understanding of underwriting and my knowledge about real estate. And if mom and pop originated this and they had 2 rental houses and decided, okay, no more telephone calls at 2 a.m. for me, I'm selling these owner financing, their underwriting may not be good. They may not have documented it correctly, so I may be able to get a discount. Well, I can offer them near what they want for it and still buy it at a discount and generate a 7, 8, 10, 12, 14% yield. Sometimes when we do creative deals, we'll buy a property and sell it on terms. And, we've originated 40% returns.
Yes.
Now, a note return is not based on the life. You're looking at these solid rates of return every year. So that's a good way to really kind of snowball and build your wealth, and also to add stability to your cash flow. But, as with any investment, everything could go horrible. You could buy a gold mine that's full of quartz and no gold, but
right.
You don't know it until you've extracted all the earth.
Right.
A note could fail. A borrower, right now there's a lot of people that are having forbearances that are needing assistance. And let's say somebody lost their job in a small town and they can't afford to keep that house. Well, if they have opportunity at another job, you can get them forbearance, you can get it reperforming. There are ways to make them profitable. And generally, when things like that happen, we as the lender, so to speak, can generally make more of a return by helping save the deal.
Wow.
So it's pretty positive. And, let's say you buy a stock and the market tanks. How much control do you have to raise the value of that stock again?
Well, I could re-elect the right person in the. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Not a lot of control.
The thing I don't like about stocks,
as our stock market is tanking right now.
right?
Not tanking terribly, but it's down. We're in an election year. That's kind of normal. So
Yeah, that
but
happens.
again, we don't have any control over that. We might even know it's coming, but we have no control.
Yeah, we're not driving that bus.
Nope.
You know, with notes, when I acquire a note, so when we look at notes and we help our buyers that we broker notes to acquire notes, we look at the note from a performing note standpoint. You know, we want to know about the credit history of the buyer. We want to know about the underwriting, how much down payment, what was their credit score, you know, what was their DTI, all of these factors.
What's a DTI?
That is your debt to income. So how prone you are to be able to pay your bills. We have all those factors, but with me having the experience in physical sticks and bricks real estate, I also go in and I've trained William, my assistant, to go on there and we can underwrite the real estate of it as well. Well, why do we do that? We're buying the note. We don't care about the real estate as long as they continue to enjoy it and pay for it. I like to know I have a plan B or a plan C if something fails with that note. I mean, right now there's a lot of businesses that are closing that may not be reopening or clearly not reopening. So my thought on it is, if I know that real estate is something I can get reperforming, you know, whether I sell it on terms and originate a new note with maybe a better interest or a better down payment, that's something I can do. If I know it's an area that's appreciating heavily and somebody loses it, how easily could I sell that to a flipper and still make money on it?
Oh yeah. Easy.
So, I mean, we like to make sure that we have options, backup plans, plan
and that's
B,
just good I mean, it sounds like great due diligence as people would want a good investor to do.
Yes.
Right. Whether you're buying a property as a manager or a landlord or anything. And I think a lot of people out there don't do any due diligence on a lot of things. And I know this is going back to, we make fun of financial planners and advisors every once in a while, but one of their stats that I really throws up caution for people, right, is that more people spend time planning their annual vacation than they do their retirement.
Yep.
And if you think about that, that's just ludicrous. Ludicrous. Oh, yeah. I mean, and not the singer, the artist.
Right.
But
right.
The bigger challenge is like, you know, if we can open up and think about, whoa, we can have these things working in our favor. Oh man, that's good stuff. And that's one of the reasons I want to have you on here. Before you go, because I know our time is limited and we're coming up on the hour here. You mentioned somebody's name where it was actually stating that this note is an asset. It was like in Congress, or what was that?
So Jeff Watson is he's a prominent attorney in the real estate investment ether, avid investor himself. Works closely with my educator for notes and my mentor. You know, they get together, you know, a couple of times a month whenever there's a major change, and like right now, lots of changes. So I'm sure he's spending a lot more time with some of my coaches. And he actually, there was some pushback at some point as far as notes being a security and you having to have a license to sell them, which there was nobody, you know, giving that license because it's the obscure slice of the market.
Right.
So where to get something nobody sells? And to make things easier, he took it to court that these were not commodities. These were not, you know, securities, that these were something different. And it went all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. And he won the case that a note is an asset. It is not a security, because everything is previously underwritten in the note. I mean, basically, it's not like there's any kind of institutional swing that will change your contract for the right to these future payments.
Right.
So that right there definitely gave us all the green light to be able to help people put these in their portfolios. But it goes back to being a good steward of the people you're working for and with.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do what's best for them. Everybody at the table needs to eat. I don't want to sit there and watch you starve because you got a bad deal.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I love about your deal is look, it's an investment and there is risk. And, you know, that's why we have all your underwriting and your due diligence and things that you do to look at that. So, John, we could probably talk for hours like we have before, and we will again, usually on Thursday mornings. But how do people get in contact with you and William, and how do they do that?
Well, one of the easiest ways is to go to our website. We are Bohemian Properties LLC.com. Also on YouTube, we do regular Zoom meetups where people can come and talk notes. So if you get on YouTube and look up Bohemian Properties, you'll see this big, beautiful bearded mug. Also, my phone number's been the same since my daughter was in the womb.
All right, better give us that number.
Yeah, 205-243-1895. And text me, call me. I'm good with any of it. And also, I'd like to throw out there that, Bohemian Properties, we've made Zoom meetups. We did those for the first 6 months of COVID. Since we're busier now and doing more one-on-ones, we don't have time to do them all month. But the first Wednesday of every month, we're doing one. This coming up Wednesday, the 4th, after the day after the election, everybody will need to hear about something non-political.
Right.
We're doing an update on forbearance. We're doing some education on that. And if anybody's ever interested in just learning about notes, or you're thinking about creating one, or you found somebody who wants to sell one and you want to know if it's a good deal or bad deal, bring it on. Everybody that we allow at our table is good people. If somebody is the kind of person that doesn't mind cutting your throat to get your wallet out of your pocket, we don't invite them to the table. Just because you've got millions of dollars doesn't mean we'll do business with you. If I won't sleep good at night making you money, making me money, then I'm not going to conduct that business, because I don't need your money that bad.
That's right. I learned the phrase a long time ago. It's like, hey, yeah, our business and me, we need money.
Yes.
Not necessarily yours. So
yeah,
again, it's all
Wednesday
personal.
Night Zoom calls. Yeah, I was gonna say those Wednesday night Zoom calls are 7 Central.
Yep.
And they are the first Wednesday of every month. And on our webpage, BohemianPropertiesLLC.com, there's a hyperlink at the very top of the screen up here.
Yep.
Click it and it'll get you. Also, you can sign up for your free one-on-one if you want to do a one-on-one Zoom with myself and my partner.
Nice.
And get your questions answered and see if this is right for you. Doesn't cost you anything but your time. We always allot a full 30 minutes. Some people have gone 90 minutes, and we love it when the ball runs like that. If it's a good exchange and everybody's getting benefit out of it.
All good. Keep it going.
Yeah. We're not clock watchers.
That's awesome. Well, I'll make sure to put that link in the show notes. So just send me the actual, the Bohemian Properties. Oh, I was going to say that too. So Bohemian Properties, and I know I was always confused about the word Bohemian before. I thought it was like, oh, it's like, it means you like come from Europe and you're white. and you are white and you got a beard, but what is Bohemian? What does that mean?
So I spent 20 years in the service industry managing businesses. I've had from 2 employees to 250 employees, and that's always clean shaven, maybe a mustache, and dressing the way somebody else told me to dress. And
wow.
I used marketing as a way to get out of that business and started doing marketing for construction. And I took that construction experience as a slap in the face, because nobody trusted my credibility, because I had those olive oil smooth hands and this clean shaven baby face.
Right.
Without this facial hair, I look like a giant 14-year-old child. It's true. So I quit shaving and I started showing up on job sites, and people thought instead of the guy that lined up the materials, I was the guy that can build the whole project.
Oh.
And one day somebody's like, man, you're kind of a scruffy hippie looking Bohemian, but I trust you with my daughter. And I was like, I guess I'm the Bohemian dude. That's who I'm going to be.
There you go.
If I don't fit in somebody's box by what they think their professional needs to look like, that's their loss. What they don't know about me will blow their mind.
Yeah. And I encourage people to look up the actual definition of Bohemian, because I did. And it'll just kind of give you a different view on things. if you had a preconceived notion of what Bohemian actually was. So that's cool. Very cool.
William actually pulled up the definition, the quick definition for me. It says, a socially unconventional person, especially one who is involved in the arts. I do love the arts, but I couldn't draw a straight line with a ruler.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we all know one or two people who enjoy the arts. Am I right, Jaleesa?
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
She's multitasking in the background, but what John doesn't know is that Jaleesa is an awesome artist in her own right, creative, fashion design, and also an actor. So rom-com, am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Awesome.
Rom-coms and more.
Rom-coms and more, and that's why she's in Hotlanta.
Oh, yeah, okay, so we're neighbors. Yeah, I'm just right over.
Yeah, John, where are you?
I'm in. We're out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. I need this. I need this COVID to die off so I can get over to the market over there on was it on DeKalb County Farmers Market.
Oh yes, yes.
I come twice a year and fill up my pantry with spices and great stuff, and I need Rona to let up.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully soon.
Now I want to go there.
Right.
Not that we don't have some great markets in St. Louis, but I want to go there.
You'll have to come down.
That'd be fun.
When you go, take coolers because you're going to want to take a lot of groceries home. Also, wear your sweatpants because you can go in there and eat lunch. And
Another great. Oh, I don't have the Brady Eats logo on here, but you can see I got food for the lunch, right? And it is leverage your lunch, so it's very food centric. And we might not be eating food on here, but we're always going to be talking about some sort of food and life, because I'm Bohemian too, like that.
I tell you, the first time I went, it's kind of a cafeteria style setup, and you get what you want and pay by the weight. And I had fresh samosas.
Ooh.
Goat, like a spicy Jamaican goat stew, and some butternut squash lasagna.
Wow.
I mean, it's
now it's time for lunch. All right.
Yes.
Right.
Cut. Now I just want to go eat. Thanks, John. I think I might blow my diet today. My eating regime, if you will. All right, Jaleesa, are you ready to roll that bumper? John, thank you so much for joining the show. I know we'll have you on future episodes and definitely have more fun conversations. So, and Jaleesa, as always, thanks for being an awesome media coordinator and making sure this stuff gets uploaded and out there the right way.
My pleasure.
Wonderful.
John, anything else for you?
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be alive in this amazing world we live in. All the hurdles we have, we still have limitless opportunity because we can be as creative and impactful as we desire to.
Yeah, on that note, I'll end with one thing. There was a study done, and I'd forget by whom, but they saw that if you had a positive attitude in life, not only would you live 7.5 years longer in your life, but you'd also live better. Imagine that.
Better and longer. I like that.
Yeah. So we can all put that in our pipes and smoke it. So that being said, as I always end these things, thank you, John. Thanks, Jaleesa. Thanks, everybody out there for watching. And hey, we may not see you in person. Certainly not right away, but we'll always see you right here on social media. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good stuff.